We now have some crazy new information which Ubisoft has just shared regarding Assassins and Templars in Assassin's Creed Valhalla. And also on Twitter, Assassin's Creed French account has now shared some brand new screenshots showing off 3 of the new locations in the game which is never shown before in the trailers as well as in the gameplay demos. And also we have some major information regarding the entire gameplay details about Assassin's Creed Valhalla which is shared by Codex on their official Twitter page. And finally, we will also talk about the Xbox Series X performance with Assassin's Creed Valhalla and how the next-gen consoles are going to be handling this game, as well as if there is any kind of heating issues with the next-gen consoles. So first, starting off the information here regarding the Assassins and Templars in this game. Now, the official Assassin's Creed French account on Twitter has shared something really interesting regarding this assassin who is revealed in the recent trailers. Now, this guy's name is apparently Basim, and he's supposed to be playing a very huge part in the hidden ones, meaning the assassins in this game. Now, here in that tweet, they basically mentioned that this guy's name is Basim, and this assassin here is from Arabia, and that he ends up meeting Eivor's brother Sigurd. Now here Assassin's Creed French has also mentioned that he's going to be a member of those we do not see, basically meaning that he is the member of the hidden ones, also known as the assassins. And he then convinces Eivor and Sigurd to leave for England. So apparently this guy Basim is the reason why Sigurd and Eivor basically end up traveling all the way from Norway to England. But this very important fact that this assassin Basim is the only reason why Eivor travels all the way to England was not really shown in any of the reveal trailers nor in the gameplay reveals. Now also in the tweet, they basically mentioned that Basim informs Eivor of a conspiracy organized by a mysterious enemies, which I believe he is basically referring to the Templars, also known as the Order of the Ancient in this game. And he has also mentioned that Basim's motivations are unknown, which kind of makes me think that this guy is some kind of an antagonist character more than like a friendly one, because we don't really know what his intentions are and why the assassins had to shake hands with the Vikings. And it seems like the assassins were successful in order to manipulate the Vikings and take over the Templars by just raiding them and destroying all of the England kingdoms. Now also, I don't know if you guys have noticed this already, but take a look at this image right here. It is pretty clear that Basim in this picture seems very old compared to the trailers and whatever we have seen so far. Like he actually has black hairs rather than the grayed out hairs. Now right here in this trailer, you can actually see Basim getting out of the ship, and he actually has black beard and his hair is not grayed out as well, so he looks pretty much young in this image right here. And then now if you move on to the other image which was shared by official Assassin's Creed poster, it seems like Basim is pretty old, which kind of makes me wonder that Basim is not going to be dead in the game for a long time, and he might actually end up getting old in the game, which kind of makes me wonder if this guy has some big plans for the Vikings, or maybe the assassins are going to be taking advantage of the Vikings. But also keep this in mind that Ubisoft has already confirmed that US players will have to make choices and also sacrifices towards how you want to play the game and what kind of outcomes you want to see in the storyline, which a lot of rumors have been stating that you can either end up being an assassin or a Templar according to whatever player choices that is. And also the game director Darby McDevitt has kind of like hinted towards the game having multiple endings, and what I believe could end up happening is that you can either join the Templars or maybe the assassins, or maybe you can even stay as a Viking warrior, and these are going to be like the different kind of options that the players will have to choose, and that's going to determine the multiple different endings for this game as well. Because we have never had an Assassin's Creed game which kind of gave us the option to choose to be an assassin or even a Templar or maybe even a Viking, because this game is set in the Viking era. So that is something I'm really looking forward to seeing, how the choices in this game are going to be impacting the actual storyline. Now up next, we have the official Codex network on Twitter, who have now shared all of the basic details that you need to know about Assassin's Creed Valhalla. Starting off with the first one saying that the game is going to have a large open world or 4 kingdom, one being the Wessex, second being the Northumbria, Mercia and East Anglia. The game will also contain 3 major cities, one being London, Winchester and Jorvik, also known as York. Now the game will also have Roman and pagan ruins which players will be able to explore and also find some kind of Easter eggs in the game, which Ubisoft has said that it is going to be related to all the other Assassin's Creed games as well. So Easter eggs in this game is something I'm very excited to explore. And the game will also have environmental puzzles which we've already seen in some of the gameplay demos. And also one of the best things in Valhalla is that no forced grinding necessary to explore and progress through the entire story of this game, which means that unlike Assassin's Creed Odyssey and Origins, this game will not force players to level up in order to reach some of the other locations of the map or even progress to the main story missions. Now moving on to the next one, we now have 3 brand new locations hints at 3 new kingdoms that was never shown before in any of the Assassin's Creed trailers nor in the reveals. Now, thanks to Axis, the enemies, for sharing this amazing piece of information on their official Twitter page, where they basically showed 3 new kingdoms which you will be able to see in this game and explore. Now, Winchester right here is a beautiful place, one of the most greenest places in the map, and in Winchester you will also witness one of the most beautiful and biggest kingdoms that you can ever see around this game's world. Now, up next we have London, which is kind of like an industrial zone which also has a lot of Roman ruins, and kind of like see what kind of Easter eggs Ubisoft has put out in that. And finally we have York, which is more of a cultural place, and you can actually see one of these temples right here, and the location seems very much orangey, and the forest and trees look orangey as well. And I'm believing that York is going to be the place where you will actually get to see all of those fantasy rituals, gods and temples and all that kind of stuff, which is really cool, to be honest, especially in the Viking era, because there were a lot of pagan rituals which I would love to see how those things really worked out. And finally, ladies and gentlemen, we are here with the Xbox Series X, and some of the people who have actually got the early access for Xbox Series X, some of the journalists have now kind of like put out their reviews stating how this console is going to be working. Now, here this is coming from a guy named Dom Plays on Twitter, who basically says that Xbox Series X is hot, like really hot. It doesn't make any noise, but damn, it's hot. The console is emitting heat like crazy. It's almost like a fireplace shaft. You can heat up your entire flat with it. Well, that's certainly one way to put the hottest product on the market this holiday. And also there's this really funny article which is coming from VGC, who basically says that the journalist says Xbox Series X can get hot like a fireplace. The latest Xbox Series X media impressions have expressed surprise at the amount of heat the console emits, with one journalist even appearing to burn his hand on its storage expansion during a live stream. Now, it seems like this journalist actually burnt his hand during the live stream when he was testing out the Xbox Series X. And to be honest, this is a very disappointing news for those of you guys who are trying to buy Xbox Series X, because when it comes to heating issues on consoles, that is something that you guys need to take very seriously. There is always a very high chance that your console might get spoiled very soon, and you will maybe have to go replace the console or kind of like apply for warranties and all that kind of stuff, which is why I always suggest all of you guys to wait a couple months, at least 2 or 3 months after the console's official launch, because every time you tend to buy the day 1 launch console, it always ends up having issues, which then the companies kind of like fix it after a couple months, maybe a month or 2, and then you kind of get the best version of those consoles later. So I would say if you guys have any of the current generation consoles, just play Assassin's Creed Valhalla on that one, and then wait a couple months after the next gen consoles are launched, so you can actually get a better version of the next gen consoles without really having to deal with all of this day 1 launch issues. Now, with that being said, lads, I would love to know which character are you guys going to be playing as in Assassin's Creed Valhalla. Are you going to be playing as a male Eivor, or will you guys be playing as the female Eivor? Let me know your thoughts down below in the comments. I would love to see how many of you guys are going to choose which one. With that being said, if you guys did go on and enjoy this video, make sure to go ahead and drop a like, because your like is very much appreciated. So please don't forget to take a few seconds of your life and help support my channel. With that being said, I hope you guys have a blast already, and I'll see you guys on tomorrow's video. Until then, take it easy, fans, and goodbye.